And domestic violence has no particular color, age, or face. It can be sitting beside you today.
Oh man, y'all already know the fallout from Diddy's sickening assault on Cassie has been feeling like a never-ending tornado of messy drama lately. Just when you think the dust has finally settled, another wild twist comes along to stir everything right back up again. This time, it's all about Bishop T.D. Jakes being forced to publicly distance himself from Puffy amid the chaotic firestorm. And let me tell
Hey Kai, is my sister asleep?
Oh, like a light, why?
you, sis, the way the good reverend is tiptoeing around condemning his longtime friend's action is giving commentary. Now, we all know T.D. Jakes and Diddy have been tight for years at this point. The bishop has basically positioned himself as Puffy's spiritual advisor through all his past scandals and controversy. He's the one Diddy called on to try uplifting his sleazy image after the Cassie abuse allegations first went wide. So you can only imagine the awkward position Jake finds himself in now that this whole hotel beatdown footage has made Diddy pretty much radioactive in the court of public opinion. It's put the pastor between a rock and a hard place in terms of protecting his own image versus enabling his problematic Faven any further. You know, on one hand, T.D. Jakes can't exactly stay mute while his name gets dragged into the conversations around condoning Diddy's reprehensible behavior, especially not after videos of the physical attacks on Cassie made it harder than ever to keep making excuses. But on the other hand, the bishop has been so far up Diddy's behind for so many years at this point that fully condemning him feels almost impossible without majorly contradicting himself and looking like the world's biggest hypocrite, you feel me? It's really a which way to Sunday sort of dilemma for poor TD. Does he keep rocking with the same toxic bro who's allegedly put cash in his pockets for ages? Or does he put some respect on his pastoral image and completely wash his hands of Diddy's cesspool of sins? Well, based on the vine I'm hearing, Jake has chosen a sort of middle ground in his first major response to the hotel fiasco. In a recent sermon, the bishop finally acknowledged the disturbing footage while carefully avoiding naming Diddy as the culprit. It's this thinly veiled yet pretty obvious dig at his friend's abusive antics without directly stating Diddy bad for the camera. He kicks things off vaguely describing being deeply affected by the images that have been floating all over the news of what I can only assume is referring to his assault. T.D. Jakes even goes as far as admitting the clips left him feeling angry as both a man and father of daughters himself.
When I saw the images that have been floating all over the news all week, it became difficult to watch. The atrocious,
you know, just your classic attempt at calling out misogyny and violence against women in general without being too specific about whose actions opened this teachable moment, if you catch my drift. A very political tightrope he's walking. But from there, the bishop transitions into more of a self-help lecture about the importance of seeking anger management and mental health resources if you're someone struggling with out-of-control rage issues. An extremely thinly veiled reference to Diddy that only those who watch the tapes could fully connect the dots on.
I know who it was, but I saw my daughters. As a man, I saw my daughters.
The key line that really seals the deal is when T.D. Jakes addresses folks with emotional problems so severe that their own kids get scared when they hear their car coming home. A painfully clear allusion to the disturbed, unsafe household environment Diddy seems to have created for his offspring based on his recorded tantrums, you know?
If you got a rage you can't control, if you have an emotional problem, a mental health issue where you're bipolar, and your kids get scared when they hear your car coming home, you gotta get some help, dude.
Of course, at no point does the good reverend explicitly mention Puffy by name or confirm that he's talking about him outright. But let's be for real. Who else could he possibly be referring to here with such weighted language if not his own spiritually troubled associate? A nice little loophole of piousness for the Lord's messenger. To me, the entire sermon comes across as T.D. Jakes being in grave damage control mode while still preserving at least a hint of plausible deniability regarding who his not-so-subtle sermon target truly was here. A very carefully calculated, read between the lines if you want, but I didn't say any names sort of approach. At the end of the day, the bishop can claim he was just using Cassie's traumatic situation as a general example of domestic abuse if ever pressed on it. But we all know exactly whose out-of-control rage demons he was really addressing with his lecturing on that pulpit that day. Now, if only the bishop could maintain his same focused energy towards properly holding Diddy's feet to the fire as a true friend and advisor, rather than seemingly making lukewarm, both sides platitudes out of fear of burning too many bridges, you know? But hey, at least it's a start in the right direction after years of silence.